Sub-national record, 6:48 in the first round. Quite an incredible run when you watch it. The front end was dangling all over the place, but he's got no easy task here in the final. He's up against Mark Ashelford, who, the Attitude Racing boys, they know how to make these bikes go quick.
They really do have a lot of experience running here at the Motorplex, a track that's been now taking nitro vehicles for a good 14 years. 6:54, the number to back up the national record. But the wind light's what they want, because this one is for a trophy.
Oh, what a fantastic race, side by side. Mark Drew just squeaks it out at the finish line. A 6:65 beats a 6:75. That's about as close as you can get it when you've got two Nitro Harleys going side by side. It speaks for itself, but this is incredible.
He couldn't quite back up that record. He's scratching his head as to why. This is what it looked like on board as Mark. This is Ashford. Just peeks out the right-hand side of those bars. You watch the hand reach for the brakes. Once he finally has it steady, you put all the weight on the front tyre. It's the most dangerous part of the pass.
Yeah, no, we're real happy, and hopefully we can sort of keep it going tomorrow night and win and get the bike going a little bit quicker again.
Those races, side by side like that, they're cool, aren't they?
Oh yeah, no, it's good when both bikes get all the way down the track and run close together. It's great.
Drew's a good competitor, mate. He's always puts on a good show. His bike's going quick. It's good to get there and have a race with these blokes. They haven't had a race, probably, the last few years. Good to catch them up again. Sit there and usually the races are better after racing, really.
Well, time to have a look at your championship points for Top Fuel Motorcycle after the first round of the championship. Mark Drew, no surprises there. He's leading the charge. Mark Ashelford in second with Chris Porter and Greg Durack rounding out your top four. As far as the horsepower on board, not as much power as the Nitro bikes, but it gives him the capability to try and wind it back a little bit and really match it up to the conditions that we've got. And well, if you want to talk about a monster first round matchup, well, you've got it right here. This is Ian Ashelford, three-time former national champion in the Top Fuel Motorcycle class. He is up against the reigning national champion, Chris Porter, on a Nitro Harley in the far lane. This is a big one, Chad.
A couple of Harleys that can definitely get into the sixes on track right now. Just how fast will it be? 7:35, still the time to beat to go to the A final. You can definitely expect one of these two bikes to be capable of doing these numbers, but you still have to win the race as well. Time advantage to Porter.
Whoa, that bike's on an absolute mission. Chris Porter still on the back wheel at the 1,000-foot mark and goes 6.90. That is well and truly quick enough as it stands at the moment. And a 6.90 gets the win. Ashelford out in the first round. That's a little bit surprising, it's got to be said.
You've got your foot in the flame as he has it rested on top of the foot peg in a different way. I suppose it's not using the bottom of the foot, but the top of the foot on there. Interesting pass for Ian. The bike maybe just still getting back to the right tune-up. These things are very, very hard to tune. And we've seen a few people, including Phil Lamartina and Top Fuel, get a little bit squirrely across that finish line.
Time for the LA Tattoo Studio bike of Mark Ashelford coming out, and guess what? This is actually a rematch of our final round from last night, the first round of the championship. He will be taking on Mark Drew. Now, the reason for this, Mark Drew's your #1 qualifier, and Mark Ashelford didn't actually make it down the racetrack. He was seated into the field at the bottom. That's why we've got this matchup.
That thing has a head of flame on idle. This bike is just juiced up and ready. It's already run 640s. Talking about Mark Drew, no big wheel stand this time. Ashelford's going to chase him down and get him. Whoa, big upset. Mark Ashelford takes out Mark Drew in their first round matchup.
Wow, that's huge. That's a huge one. And a 6.90 with an 8 for Mark Ashelford actually gives lane choice to Chris Porter by 0.03 of a second in the A final here this evening. Great side-by-side race. The bike for Mark Drew does not behaving itself, but what promises to be a mouth-watering final round here. Chris Porter will be taking on Mark Ashelford in the final round, and the consolation final will see Kevin Gummo on a solo. Well, we're moving into the final round now for Top Fuel Motorcycle, and it promises to be a fantastic matchup. It is Chris Porter, the reigning national champion in this class. He's got the big #1 on the side of the bike, but, well, to take home the points here this evening, he is going to have to get over the top with one of the toughest bikes in the country. It is Mark Ashelford on the Attitude Racing Harley.
Big ask to come to the west and beat the local Harley riders because they're so experienced and they're so quick. And the LA Tattoo Bayswater bike, the Attitude Racing guys know what they're doing. They know how to tune these Nitro Harleys. And they're riding with a heavy heart this weekend. Mark and Ian's mum recently passed away, so it's been a tough few weeks for the Ashfords, knowing that you can bring home a win like here, it'll be for Mum.
Well, with the silver Christmas tree on offer, these guys are throwing everything at it. Chris Porter tags the centre line, and that hands the win to Mark Ashelford. He will be absolutely pumped with that. And a 6.58 in the conditions that we've got, that is very, very competitive. And I think you could probably put a little bit of that down to an angel riding with him this weekend.
Look at that for Porter, just went smashing through both of those cones at half track. This is looking at the side of Chris Porter's bike. It's so hard to steer, especially when you've got the front wheel in the air. You have to really swing the bike around with your legs and the weight that you're putting over the handlebars. But that thing was always heading to the centre line.
Yeah, it had magnets in it, and, well, that let Ashelford through for the win.
It's been 3 years since we've seen you back in Perth, Mark Ashelford. You were in the victory circle last night, not as a winner, but you made it tonight. You go one step further. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, mate. And the weekend's been excellent for me. Chris, last year's champion. What an excellent race. Mark Drew last night. Man, top it off. 2 championship rounds in a weekend. Been both circles, mate. That's excellent. I'm happy. There's some tough bikes, riders. The field's there, blinging right up now. And I think you're going to see some real good stuff in the top fuel motorcycle class coming up in the next few years.
Well, that really tightens things up at the top of the points in the top fuel motorcycle class. Mark Ashelford will lead coming out of this event on 117. Mark Drew in second, Chris Porter in third, Greg Durack and a whole host of very tough bikes behind them.